You might be shocked by how much money is made from things we can't see or prove. The world of the unseen is not just mysterious, it's incredibly lucrative, and most people have no idea just how much cash flows through these hidden channels every year. Beyond credit card scams and phishing emails, there's a hidden world, psychic and spiritualist fraud. It's a realm that operates in the shadows, often overlooked, but it's thriving in plain sight, right on our main streets and in our neighborhoods. In the US alone, it's estimated to rake in hundreds of millions every year. That's more than some major industries, and the numbers keep climbing as more people seek answers to life's toughest questions. This isn't just pocket change for a palm reading, it's people's life savings, retirement funds, and inheritances, all handed over for a promise of supernatural guidance. The product? Hope. For many, it's a desperate investment in something to believe in when everything else feels uncertain. The price? Sometimes everything. People have lost homes, relationships, and their sense of security, all in pursuit of answers that may never come. This trade is built on trust, convincing people you have a special connection to the unknown. It's a delicate dance of persuasion, empathy, and performance. The best in the business are masters of psychology, knowing exactly how to listen, spot insecurities, and offer comfort at just the right moment. They read people as well as any expert, and use that insight to build a powerful bond. It's a skill that can be used for good or for manipulation. The line between helping and exploiting is razor thin, and not everyone stays on the right side of it. So, how does an ordinary person convince others they're a conduit to the supernatural? What makes someone believe in the impossible, even when the evidence is thin? It's a story about deception, but also about the enduring power of hope. People want to believe, and sometimes that hope is stronger than any doubt or skepticism. And it's a story worth exploring, because the work on both sides of the con is truly something to behold. The stakes are high, and the consequences are real. Let's take a closer look at how this world operates, and why so many people are drawn in, sometimes with everything they have. Meet Eleanor Vance. She was the kind of woman you might pass on the street and never look twice at, quiet, unassuming, and always with a gentle smile. But behind that ordinary exterior was a story that would captivate an entire community. She looked like a retired librarian, gray hair, gentle eyes, a calm voice that made you want to lean in and listen. There was a warmth to her presence, a sense of trustworthiness that drew people in. No crystal balls, no robes. Her power was her normalcy. She wore simple clothes, lived in a modest home, and never tried to stand out. Eleanor claimed she was guided by a spirit called the financier, the ghost of a Gilded Age tycoon. This wasn't just any spirit, but one with a reputation for wealth and wisdom. He whispered stock tips and investment strategies, and she simply passed them on. She never claimed to understand the advice, only to relay it faithfully. Her story was detailed. The financier had a name, a backstory, a personality. She described his mannerisms, his old-fashioned speech, and even his regrets about the modern world. He was stern but fair, frustrated by modern greed, and wanted to help honest people. He was painted as a moral guide, not just a source of money. Eleanor's humility was her greatest act. "I don't understand this market talk myself," she'd say. "I just tell you what he tells me." She always downplayed her own role, insisting she was just a messenger. This made her seem like a selfless messenger, not a schemer. People felt she was doing them a favor, not running a business. People weren't just trusting Eleanor, they were trusting a legendary tycoon from beyond the grave. The story gave her words a weight that few could question. She never sought fame, only to share the wisdom she claimed was given to her. She avoided the spotlight, which only made her seem more genuine. Her setup was masterful, detailed, humble, and believable. Every detail was carefully chosen to reinforce her story. For a long time, it worked better than anyone could have imagined. People celebrated small wins, shared stories, and brought friends into the fold. She built a following not by spectacle, but by quiet, convincing storytelling. Her gatherings felt like family meetings, not business pitches. And that's how the con began. In the comfort of living rooms, with trust and humility, Eleanor Vance set her plan in motion. Eleanor's persuasion was slow and deliberate, like a gentle tide reshaping the shore over time. She started small, offering casual advice to neighbors, never promising instant riches or wild returns, but always planting a seed of curiosity. The financier thinks that tech company is overvalued, she'd say, almost as gossip, her words carrying a hint of mystery that made people lean in closer. When her predictions came true, word spread quickly, and her reputation grew with every whispered success. Soon, she hosted intimate gatherings, more investment club than seance, but with an air of exclusivity that made each guest feel chosen. People sipped tea as she relayed the financier's latest insights, weaving spiritual advice with sound, generic financial principles, making the complex seem accessible. The believable advice made the unbelievable easier to swallow, and her calm confidence soothed any lingering doubts. When her picks succeeded, it was proof of her gift, and celebrations felt like validation of their faith in her. When they failed, it was a test of faith or a necessary sacrifice, an inevitable part of the journey, she'd say, that only made the next win sweeter. The blame for losses never landed on her. Instead, it dissolved into the group, explained away by fate or market forces beyond anyone's control. She created an environment where people felt special, like insiders with access to secret wisdom, bonded by shared secrets and whispered tips. Her method was simple: blend good advice with the mystical, celebrate wins, and explain away losses, always keeping her followers engaged and hopeful. The result? A loyal following, convinced they were part of something extraordinary, eager for the next revelation. The deception was subtle, layered, and incredibly effective, woven into every conversation, every meeting, every promise. And it all hinged on trust, the invisible thread that held her web together, stronger than any contract or guarantee. Eleanor's real genius was in building deep personal connections. She remembered birthdays, listened to worries, and became a confidant. Her followers weren't gullible. They were smart people seeking certainty in a chaotic world. She offered authenticity and community, not just financial advice. Being part of her circle felt exclusive, special. Doubt was discouraged. Questioning her meant risking exile from the group. Her modest lifestyle, old car, simple house, reinforced her image as a selfless guide. No one saw the wealth being quietly funneled elsewhere. The illusion was complete humble messenger, exclusive community, hidden fortune. Why did so many smart people fall for it? Confirmation bias. Once they believed, every success was proof, every failure was explained away. The sunk cost fallacy kept them invested. Admitting the truth meant admitting a huge mistake. Eleanor was a master of cold reading, making vague statements that felt personal and profound. Her storytelling was powerful. People weren't just buying stocks, they were joining an epic narrative. The desire to be part of something bigger, to find meaning and certainty, made the deception irresistible. The real product wasn't financial advice, it was hope, belonging, and a sense of destiny. That's what kept people coming back, even when the evidence didn't add up. The story was more compelling than the truth, and that's the real power of belief. Every con has a weak point. For Eleanor, it was her nephew, David. David managed her finances, believing in her story, until the numbers stopped making sense. He noticed large payments to a data analytics firm. Why would a spirit need market analysis? Digging deeper, he found subscriptions to expensive financial newsletters. The financier's advice started to sound suspiciously like these reports. David cross-referenced dates. Eleanor's revelations always followed new market publications. The pattern was undeniable. Her spiritual messages were just reworded expert analysis. The magic vanished. It was a trick. Heartbroken, David realized he'd been an unwitting accomplice. He knew he had to act, not just for himself, but for everyone who trusted Eleanor. The unraveling had begun. The truth was about to come out, and the fallout would be massive. Investigators, with David's help, pieced together Eleanor's operation. She repackaged professional financial advice as divine revelation. Hours were spent studying reports, translating jargon into the financier's folksy wisdom. She mixed recommendations to avoid obvious patterns, weaving a convincing narrative. Profits were funneled through shell corporations, masking the money trail. Her genius wasn't in predicting markets but in managing expectations and controlling the story. She acted as an unlicensed fund manager, bypassing regulations with a compelling tale. The winners were celebrated, the losers dismissed. Mechanically, it was brilliant. Ethically, a disaster. When the truth emerged, the fallout was devastating. Families lost life savings, homes, and futures, all for advice from a ghost. The emotional damage was worse: betrayal by a trusted friend, deep shame, and fractured community. Some refused to believe the evidence, clinging to the hope Eleanor sold them. The supportive network collapsed into suspicion and blame. Eleanor faced fraud charges, but the scars ran deeper than any courtroom could heal. Her story is a cautionary tale about our vulnerability to hope and certainty. The most effective scams prey on emotion, not logic. In the end, Eleanor sold more than fake stock tips. She sold meaning, and people paid dearly. Eleanor Vance's story is a window into the intersection of faith, finance, and fraud. The most dangerous deceptions are the ones that feel reassuring. We all want simple answers, and there's always someone ready to sell them. This isn't just about one woman. It's about a universal vulnerability. Understanding these cons is the first step to protecting ourselves. It's about skepticism, asking questions, and recognizing when something's too good to be true. The work of a long con is demanding, but the damage is real. So what do you think? Have you seen stories like this? Share your thoughts below, and let's keep the conversation going. Subscribe for more deep dives into the dirty jobs that shape our world.